Hey guys, Gaming Off the Grid here. A lot of the news coming out of CES 2020 from the video game industry revolved around Arcade1Up. In today's episode, we're going to tell you why, although it wasn't announced, we think a House of the Dead Arcade1Up cabinet is inevitable. What are we drinking today?
Today we're drinking Campfire S'mores by Confluence Brewing Company. It's a bourbon barrel-aged black lager brewed with chocolates, marshmallows, and graham crackers.
Holy cat crap. You know the drill. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell icon so you never miss an upload. And sit back, relax, pour yourself a beer if you care to, and let's talk about why we think a House of the Dead cabinet from Arcade1Up is inevitable.
Girl JLove81 and you're watching my boys Gaming Off the Grid.
Alright, here we go. Arcade1Up was dropping bombs at CES 2020, with the most notable release, in our opinion anyway, being NBA Jam.
Oh, I'm so excited for that cabinet, but we already talked about that in a full episode, so let's just jump in. They also announced a pinball machine and a litany of other cabinets, which is super cool. The cabinet that really tipped us off for this House of the Dead idea that we have in our brains is they announced a Sega arcade cabinet. And this includes Golden Axe, Altered Beast, Shinobi, and Wrestle Wars, which I'm not that excited for, but I'm excited for the potential it could bring.
Yeah, so the fact that they're working with Sega, something Sega licensed, that is huge. So that's kind of, Sega had a heavy presence in the arcades.
Yes, they did.
You get your Virtua Fighter games, your Crazy Taxi games, Sega GT Racing, all sorts of great Sega games. I'm leaving a ton of them out as I'm rattling through them. But one of their biggest, and one that I think people remember the most, is light gun games, and that being their House of the Dead series. You go into an arcade and you remember the traditional games. You remember sitting down and racing, and you remember grabbing guns and shooting the screen. They've bridged that gap with Sega.
And then there was a leak, this isn't confirmed, but there's a picture out there that they made a Big Buck Hunter cabinet. So, light guns.
Yes.
They're working with that, and then Sega.
Where does Arcade1Up go? So one of the things you said here at the beginning was a pinball machine. So you can tell they're trying to touch on everything you would have experienced in the arcade. So we've got the traditional cabinets. Then they did some tabletop cabinets.
Which is cool.
Very cool. Pinball machines, they're going into that route. There was also a leaked image of what looked to be a sit-down Star Wars cabinet.
Yes, which I'm not sure what it is, but that makes me thinking they're getting into racing games and Hydro Thunder.
And so you just gotta think, at some point they're going to approach the light gun genre, because it was so huge in arcades back in the 90s. It just was. And it still is today, for that matter.
It is. When I go to arcades, I want to play light gun games. I love them.
So we've got the Sega cabinet. We have got Big Buck Hunter images. So that tells you they've got some sort of light gun technology figured out. And then the remakes coming down the pipe of House of the Dead 1 and 2, which we've talked about before on the channel. This is the perfect time to have the remakes come out.
Oh, and then a cabinet.
And either the cabinet before or after, maybe before to get the hype going, then the remakes come out, and Sega's really, it appears, getting back behind the House of the Dead brand. They had a great release of House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn not that long ago. Incredible game. And arguably, we did an episode with a bunch of House of the Dead fans at the time that it was kind of a split jury on, is it the best one ever? I really think that we are going to get a House of the Dead 1 and 2 cabinet. I think it's going to have both games. And I think it is just going to be, not the remakes, I think it's just going to be the traditional,
the old school
arcade games. And those cabinets, I think, would just do so well. I think the sales would be through the roof. Now, we've got a mixed history kind of with Arcade1Up, as we have known of, including ours, a couple screen failures. We had a friend get one that was DOA, and then our screen went out after 10 hours of play on the Final Fight cabinet. So, we have said in several episodes, if you're going to buy one of these things,
get a warranty.
Get a warranty. Yep, an extended warranty. That build quality can be a little bit dodgy, but they have improved the quality with every generation, so we can say that. And this NBA Jam cabinet, and then holy hell, we really think a House of the Dead cabinet here in the next year or two is going to be a real thing.
Well, there's a picture of Big Buck Hunter plus the confirmed Sega cabinet. Yeah. It's inevitable. Yeah. It's going to happen. Yep. I'm so excited. I'm just curious, when it does happen, how much is that going to be compared to the normal arcade one?
Yeah, it's a good question.
It might be more because of the technology.
Yep.
But either way, that's going to be so insane. And imagine having that in your game where you walk in and play a Lycon game, like a real arcade Lycon game. It would be insane.
Yeah, and I think you're right. The price would be dodgy probably, or a little higher than the other ones, because you would have to. You can't put shitty guns on that.
No,
because they take a beating.
It would have to be real, and that's why I'm kind of worried because of the quality of Arcade1Up. So if you're gonna do it Arcade1Up, please do it right.
Yeah.
Please build it good. I don't care. I mean, I do care if it's expensive, but put the time and effort into it and make it amazing, please.
So, that's our prediction. Let's talk about this beer. This is part of Confluence's Copper Age series. It's a limited release beer they do every single year. And this is the Campfire S'mores. It is a barrel-aged black lager. And I was really, really excited about it. Confluence is one of the best breweries in the Des Moines area, which is where we're from. They do a fantastic job. This beer isn't bad, but I was expecting to be a little more impressed.
I'm kind of confused by barrel aging a lager. I feel like this should have been a stout, but I don't really taste any s'more. Do you taste any elements?
I do get a little bit of it on the finish. I get a little bit of the sweetness, and I'm getting more of like a toasted marshmallow and some chocolate coming through. A few graham cracker notes. So the flavor profile, it's not obvious though.
Yeah.
Like I'm picking it up on the finish, but I agree with you. I think this would have been better off as a barrel-aged imperial stout, like a Campfire S'more.
Oh, that would have been
imperial
so good.
stout.
I wonder why they went with a black lager.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they could just be trying something which is awesome.
Yeah.
I love when brewers do that. But
You know, it's not a bad beer. I do like the taste. I would order it on draft if I seen it out somewhere. In fact, I'd be fairly excited. But I was expecting, because of what I know Confluence can do, I was thinking this could be a world-class offering, and it's definitely not that, at least in my opinion. Especially, and the retail on these is not cheap. So I was thinking it was going to be a very good brew. You know, I don't know, out of 5, 3.5, or a 4 out of 5, probably, something like that. It's good.
It's definitely unique too. Like I don't think I've ever had anything like this. I don't think, and it's enjoyable, but it's just my expectations were different.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what do you guys think? In the comment section below, what do you see happening with the next, not this very next wave, but the following wave of Arcade1Up cabinets? Are we going to get some light gun games? Are we going to get some arcade racers?
Oh.
What is going to happen with this thing? Because Arcade1Up just seems to be having the throttle wide open and doing some crazy things. But we are pretty sure that it is inevitable that we're all going to be getting a House of the Dead 1 and 2 cabinet, and we can't freaking wait. We always appreciate you tuning in and subscribing to the channel. Keep gaming, keep drinking. We'll see you next time right here on Gaming Off the Grid. Hey guys, Gaming Off the Grid here. A lot of the news coming out of CES 2020 revolved around the Arcade1Up. Hey guys, Gaming Off the Grid here. A lot of the news coming out of CES 2020 in the video game industry.